Yes. Back again. Motown Philly back again. Coffee Break with JN is back again. Doing a little East Coast swang. Yo, what up, caffeines? Back in the building. Why do I look so big? Pause. Why do I look so big in the screen? What's going on, you guys? Sound off? It's happening. It's happening. Coffee Break is back. Look at this. We got a bunch of people up in here already. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. It's happening, Doug Diff. I heard it's a special little someone had a birthday. Happy birthday, Duke. It's gonna be okay. Duke made it. Yo, Joe. Happy birthday, my friend. What up, James? So guys, we have to do a sound off. You need to tell me who is in the building. Put your hands up. Let me see who I see in the chat. I see Dakota. What's up, Dakota? I see Notorious JRD. I see Matt. I see Suze. I see Duke. I see Paul Pate. What up, Paul Pate? Who else snuck in here? James. Yo, it's great. It's great to see you guys. I will be mad. Oh, what up, Steve Conley? Stone Cold. Stone Cold. Steve Conley's in the building. Guys, if you are not watching Steve Conley, not only on Pencil to Pencil, your favorite pandemic podcast, Steve has a fantastic Twitch channel. It's almost like, how are all these cartoonists being so lively and a great stage presence? How do they have such great stage presence? I think we're used to performing in front of an audience with no net. So check out Steve's Twitch. Steve, can you put your Twitch channel in the chat so we can check it out? Yeah, tell him Paul Pate. Conley 316 says, I just drew that. We'll have to figure that out. Oh, James, that was you. That was you over in Steve's Twitch. What's up, man? Every time I hang out on Steve's Twitch, pause. Every time I hang out on Steve's stream, I feel like, yo, should we go to Twitch? YouTube is like where it's at, right? But it's like the Twitch energy is so different. And then Steve tells me about raids or something like that. Like they get all the people from other channels to come to your thing. Yeah, I don't know. Guys, what do you guys think about that? Let's talk about it. But I don't know what that would change, like, because a lot of you guys are, some people still watch this on the Facebook channel. For you guys who don't know that I'm generally streaming this on the Books of Faces on my personal Facebook page. If you have the good fortune to be friends with me IRL in real life or Facebook friends, um, the Pencil to Pencil Facebook account and also our YouTube account for Pencil to Pencil. I do have my own Jamar Nicholas YouTube channel. There's nothing on it except like stuff for the Patreon that's unlisted. But I also have a Twitch account. It's like the worst looking page ever. There's nothing on it. But yeah, maybe I don't know. You talk about that yourselves. Well, hello. What up, Ben Harvey? My good friend. Well, hello. You know the universal greeting. Well, hello. Nakota, we're jumping right into it. Nakota says, I've never used Twitch and I might be to get off my lawn for it, but I could probably adapt. JRD says, I'm always upset that Twitch raids aren't announced by security. Oh, a scurry of cartoon roaches. Raid! Paul Pate says, I don't even know where Twitch is, yo. It's on twitch.com. Matt, what up, Matt of the famous Raringo Dynasty? Matt says, I've designed some annoying banner ads for Twitch. That's about it. I don't know. I mean, it just seems like maybe it's just Steve's channel because he knows what he's doing and his lip gloss is popping over there. Guys, the caffeines are in the building. I have some information for you. Not news, but it's information. In the background, deep in the background of the chat tonight is my apprentice. My apprentice is hanging out and watching the stream. She was also on pencil to pencil in the background, just learning how things go. Apprentice Jenna is in the building, so everybody say hi to her. She's not going to come on screen. That's not what we're doing here. But give her a well hello, and maybe she'll talk to you guys in the chat. Oh, so Dakota says Twitch could be Steve's baby. So like let's leave Twitch alone, is that what we're saying? Look at that. Oh, how sweet. JRD. I love it. Look at that. Look all the love. Isn't that great? So yeah, what's really funny about all of this is that I talk about the studio. I talk about the studio a lot. If any of you guys are Patronuses in good standing, I hope you are. You paid your dues this month. You hear me talk about the studio a lot, and it's not just me. And it's not a broken typewriter or like you know, some sort of like farce that I made up. They're real live human people that help me uh, get things done around here. Um, and this is kind of part of it. There's so many things going on. We're already prepping uh, the next volume of Leon. Ugh, I don't know how I do any of this stuff. And it's crazy if you start adding up the hours of just kind of like how many hours I sit in this chair and do stuff. And the podcasting is a huge part of it. I don't have to run through the tapes, but you guys know, pencil to pencil. It ain't hard to tell. Run by Bodega Voltron. You know the name. Coffee break and all the other stuff that I'm doing on the Patreon. It's a lot. Don't let Paul Pate mess you up. You had it right the first time. No, that's not even right, JRD. You're supposed to be the gatekeeper around here. Yeah, that's why I didn't put it on screen. We're not confusing people. So she's just going to hang out in the back and kind of learn the ropes and kind of see how all of this stuff works, because my intention as we go forward is to kind of like grow the outreach of all of the JNN things. The JNN, Jamar Nicholas Network. So maybe that's making clips or whatever they call those things and putting them on social, maybe little snippets. We'll probably try to keep the pauses out of there. There's already enough craziness going on in the world. But maybe we'll talk about this for some of you guys who may not. And you guys are so well versed, everybody that hangs out with me, and how this stuff works. You get a lot of information off of It Ain't Hard to Tell. How many people would be surprised that I have people that help me get stuff done? I call Shogun. What's going on? It's good to see you. JRD says, "Oh, the shorts, not what did I say? Clips, shorts, shouts." JRD says, "You mentioned on It Ain't Hard to Tell that StreamYard now has the ability to make clips, so that's something Jenna could do." You hear that, Jenna? They're putting you to work. Duke says shorts get shared on socials a lot, can drive a lot of eyeballs. I call Shogun's a surprise level. JRD says, by the way, BT Dubs, sorry I didn't get a question for it, and for It Ain't Hard to Tell. Happy 75th episode. No, that's quite all right. We had plenty. Well, you'll get us the next time. Yo, what up, Mizzle Kisses? My man Mark Manley. Good to see you, bro. What up, son? Happy 5-0. That's right. That's the 4, that 50, 5-0. I know you out here running things. No, you. Yeah, let's do our first sip of the nights, you guys. Let's first sip of the nights. Where's the banner? Where is it? Don't go anywhere. I got too many sippers. First sip of the night for my man Mark Manley. You know the Manleys. You know my man Mike. You know Mark. You know how we get down. Sipper for you. Thank you. It's good to see you, my man. Hope everything's well. Jared says, yeah, given your ties with college is an area. Having an assistant is no surprise. I have the kidlet. I get it. Um, Also, yo, will have to toast to 50 at Baltimore Comic Con first night. I'm gonna be 51 by the time we get to Comic Con. Oh yeah, respect. I don't want to mess up your deal, man. So you sip later. That's right. Um, so yeah, I was gonna say something. Let me go back to this JRD thing. So he says, "Yeah, given your ties to college and having a sister, so surprise, kidlet." You know what, guys? Really, this is it. I think one of the things that happens a lot with cartoonists or comic book artists or whatever is there's a lot of ego involved, and I don't mean that like in a bad way. It's kind of like, for the most part, you spend a lot of time by yourself. You're hunched over a desk. You're swimming in these worlds that you've created, and it's hard to think that you can't make it all fit. Pause. Or that even if you could get help, like what would that look like, and who are you going to ask? And then, like, I've had this conversation a million times with other buddies of mine of like, yo, you know what? You can feel like you're drowning. You should probably ask for some help. By the time I find somebody and hire them, I could have did it myself. That's like the 101 cop out of trying to get help. Um, Maybe the first thing is knowing that you need help, and then the second thing is actually getting it. But also, I think you have to be. I understand why a lot of people kind of just like don't reach out like that because it's not easy. And I also know you have to have the kind of right temperament and the right personality for that. And I had an interview once, wasn't too long ago, and the whole topic was about running a studio and having help and having assistance. And I said one thing, and this isn't even about Jenna or Sandra or anybody else, is I said I think people have this very weird idea of what help looks like, especially if it's like you and your own self-made, self-employed, self-run thing. Is that, oh, I wish I had an assistant because then they could go get me a coffee, and I don't know where that came from, but that's not how this works. And it's almost like those old shows where, like, this is a teaching hospital. You spend most of the time trying to just kind of like explain to people like why things are important, why we do things this way, how your help is going to make things better. And then we get started. It's not like, yo, we're not running a pirate ship. It's not like, lift that bail and all that. But a lot of people just don't have the energy or the temperament to do that kind of stuff. Also, people are super paranoid. The idea that if you bring in help, that they're going to try to like Highlander you and cut your neck off and steal your cartooning energy is real. I mean, that's not real, but I think people get really paranoid because I don't want to give away my secrets. Or what if this person takes my Rolodex and steals all my contacts? There's a lot that's mixed up into it. Uh, yeah, JRD says, are you speaking about the idea that only you could do the work you do kind of thing? Yeah, I think that's a lot of it. I mean, I don't really subscribe to that, but I was thinking, and this isn't ego at all, but it's kind of like even thinking about kind of producing the stuff I've been doing lately. I can't think of anybody that draws like me. And dude, know that's not an ego thing. It's just like I was actively thinking about that. And I don't know, maybe we could talk about that tonight, but people are always like, "Oh, you remind me of this or this guy. He's got some whatever type of style in him. Oh, that reminds me of Will Eisner or whatever." But yeah, Dakota says, whenever I need to enlist, oh, what happened? Whenever I need to enlist help at work or train people, I always tell them, don't do your best. Do my best. It will be good. Yo, that's wild. About the coffee thing, JRD says, fetching coffee is an anachronistic holdover from the 50s, rooted in the idea that a secretary was an extension of your wife just at work. Wow. Yeah, that's not the wave. But yeah, maybe we could talk about that for a second. Hold on. Paul Pate says, right temperament and organization, not easy to do getting someone to help. I call Shogun says, that feels like TV movie shorthand. It's the only thing that they can show in less than 5 seconds to keep the. Denise, here you go. Thank you. Who told you how to do that? I learned it from watching you. Matt says, if Suze had an assistant, Suze would bring them coffee. Just the way she is. That's super true. And on that note, Sue says, "You ate all the tabersnackles? No more peanut chews. We're gonna have to get another a goodie box and send you some Goldberg's peanut chews. I think they're Goldberg's. That's a very Philadelphia thing." Oh, Matt just told her where the stash was. Jared D says, "I worked in a nonprofit and I always had access to college kids interning, and I would always train them to do my job rather than be my gopher." Yeah, I mean that whole gopher thing is it's pretty outdated, and also the modern student doesn't want to do any of that stuff that doesn't look like boss moves. Nobody's going to happily go and get you a latte. They're going to be like, "Yo, this isn't what I signed on for. You know how many credits I got? Is this a paid internship?" There's a lot of pushback that I think people will be surprised about, which kind of leads me to a thing where, you know, a lot of things have shifted in just how the way people process college kids. Like, I think if you live in a town where there's a college or whatever, uh, you may have been in a place, and this happens a lot, where somebody's like, "Oh, hey, Jamar, you work at the college, right? Do you know anybody that could come help me move this sofa?" And I'm like, "Are you going to pay them?" "Oh, well, yeah, I'll get them beer and pizza." Beer and pizza don't work no more. Beer and pizza does not make things happen anymore. People want cash, yo. So if anybody has any stories about kind of that transition into the new world where college kids just don't have a million hours of free time and want to be paid for things, let's talk about that. We're gonna do an ID soon. Somebody want to? Somebody wake up Hicks. Dakota says, "What are peanut chews?" Come on, JRD. You'd be fun. You'd be too funny. So wait, hold on. So JRD doesn't know, but he keeps saying things. I will leave that. I will leave that alone for y'all. um. All right. Hold on one second. I had something I wanted to do, and you guys are talking about all this kind of stuff. Man, I can't afford my Balenciagas. You guys are chatting too fast. Duke says, "You mean college kids can't pay for the books and tuition with exposure?" Nope, don't work like that anymore. And Paul says, "Dude, if my job consisted of fetching coffee, I could pay my bills. I'd be in." No, it's that. I mean, that could almost be considered harassment, depending on the matrix of who's asking and under what circumstances. Like, I ran an office for a long time. I just like Sue said, I would gladly go get stuff. I would bring stuff in. If somebody and there's kind of like a better give and take. If somebody was walking out and said, "Hey, I'm going to go to the thing. Does anybody want anything?" 9 times out of 10, I would say no. But if you caught me in the right place, I might be like, "Yeah, you know what? Could you get me something?" And would hand the money for it. and we do it like that. Or a lot of times, really, no, don't worry about it. Like that kind of like collegial nice stuff, I think is fine. But the chair swivel and the Misty, go get me a coffee does not work, and that's very television. Uh, Nakota says the last time I had to interact with an intern that my company was paying, he was the most awkward man child, and I couldn't wait for him to be gone. Oh no. Oh yeah. So Steve, you guys figured out what Goldenberg shoes were? Yeah, that's a very Pennsylvanian thing. Sue says Goldenberg's peanut shoes. Jane got us addicted. I'm sorry. Made in Philly. I'm sorry. We found them at Cracker Barrel. I'm so sorry. So good. I ate the whole king size package that I usually share with Matt. I think I know what I'm giving you guys for the holidays. I got to send you some toothbrushes. Those things will wreck your dental work. You guys work for cheap. I love it. So, okay, guys, you know how this works. For you guys that have been around for a long time, you know what happens when Suze is in the building. When Suze enters the chat chunk, I'm getting bars on my screen. Am I breaking up, you guys? Am I lagging? This might make a good Suze pose. Um, we have to pay tribute to the Queen of Coffee Break, and we pay our tithes in poses. All right, you know how this works. You ready? Get your elbows ready. I'm totally stalling. I'm trying to find the thing. I put my hand upon your chip, then I dip, you dip, we dip. Sue's pose. That was a good one. Let's see what else is going on. Yo, Mladen, how are you? We saw you on Pencil to Pencil last night, right? Thanks for coming back to the. I'm tired, you guys. Thanks for coming back to the channel. This is Coffee Break with JN. It's a whole other thing. There's no mic, but Steve is here in the chat hanging out. Uh, Mladen says, "Is Draw Magazine gone for good? Does anybody still read magazines?" Those are two separate questions, my friend. Draw Magazine is not going for good. We have talked a lot about maybe doing issues, maybe in some sort of like quarterly, annually type of thing. You'd have to really ask Mike. But then the second question is, does anybody read magazines? I mean, we might have to put that in the chat. Um, I'm assuming that you're a fan of Draw. You may recognize me as your crusty critic, reviewing tools and art supplies to uh, save you coin. Uh, so yeah, let's talk about that. Thanks for hanging out. Don't leave. Um, and JRD, I'm not going to put that on the thing. Matt says interns at the agency work on actual client work, yes, and a lot of them have ended up getting hired, yes. I mean, the reality is that everybody's job is so hectic. To have another body in the office who was just like shrugging and looking at their phone is a liability. Like, get them out of here. Like, okay, somebody came in great here. Take this and go over there and make sense of that. I mean, it's just there's so much, there's so much stuff at play when you have more people in the office, and it's just kind of like nobody's got time for that. Oh no, there's some weirdness going on in the chat. Yo, what's going on, repairman? Let's be cool. Maleta says if you stream every night, I'll be here every night. Oh, we're not here every night. So maybe we'll do this. Time for the ones and twos, and then I'll do an ID. Um, So the ones and twos, you guys, are when we have some audience participation. For you guys in the chat that are watching live, I'm just going to ask you a question. We're going to see if you hit the one key for one or the two key for the other, and we just talk it out. If you have a magazine subscription, like a legit, your name is on it and it comes to your house, pause, and you have to fill out a little card and send it back in to get more of them. Put a one in the chat. If you do not, put a two. And also maybe for a three is I don't think digital subscriptions should count. It's not the same. But let's just do one and two. One is a yes, two is a no. Let's light it up. Let's see what you got. Oh, and then if you do a subscription, tell us what your subscription is. Repairman Jack, no magazine subscriptions. I think my next questions will be like, well, why not? That's me. No beret though. Specialized magazines. And and this is funny. We talked about this a long time ago. I don't see those ones and twos, you guys. One if you do, two if you don't. Paul Pate says, I love printed books and comics. Magazines are good too if they have good art. Word up. Dakota says, we still get highlights for Kidlet Jr. He loves it. He loves it. Matt says, I was a Starlog Fangoria kid. Got all my news from the mags. Wow, you're going way back in time. There's a lot of no's. All right, Repairman Jack. No, Tori. Yes. Matt as a 1.5. Okay, highlights. Oh, what's up? Mugen Glider 82. Yes. Comics. Well, you get a comic subscription in the mail? Is that from like Mile High Comics, one of those places? And what kind of fortified box does it come in? You know what? I've seen they have really cool comic book mailers where they're kind of like insulated by the inside themselves, like the cardboard pops up and you can slide the comic in and then it folds down. There's no way for that to get crushed. I guess maybe it's kind of too late, but maybe three is if you have another type of subscription that comes to your house, which is a three. That might be like the pears, fruit of the month club, nuts of the month club. I know a couple of millennials who have vinyl subscriptions. I was addicted to bespoke clothes subscription services for a while. I was in the loot boxes for a minute. It was not good. Jared D says one, a couple of specialized cooking mags. Okay. Food Network cooks people. That's a really interesting magazine. Food Network cooks people. There's just like a dude with his head in a stew pot on the cover. Paul Pate too, no Playboy. Do they still even make that? Oh, Amiga format. Okay. Oh yeah, the Gemini mailers. Yes, that's exactly what they're called. I wanted to pick some of those up, but I don't mail out enough comics for those. You could probably get those. Do they sell those in the comic shops? Matt says, we stuck with Entertainment Weekly until the bitter end. I loved Entertainment Weekly. Wait, does that not exist anymore? Like I would see an Entertainment Weekly, let's say if I was at the train station or something, but did they stop publication? Duke says, yep, my local comic shop is like a half-hour drive. Comics sent via mail have come a long way, bag boarded and no creases or no dents. Bark boxes for the doggle. Repairman Jack says, it's true, I used to buy a ton of magazines and now I don't anymore. Yeah. 3D, hold on. You guys, there's too many people in the chat. James says 3D World, but printed mags are pretty costly now. Digital only. Dakota says, I used to get Nat Geo, but didn't want to keep giving money to the parent company. Yeah, I mean, it's wild. I'm a big proponent of physical media. Even with video games, I like a physical game in the case. They make video games now Or they produce video games where you get the case, but there's no CD in it. Yo, I heard you like CDs. There's no CD in it. It says digital download redeemed here, and so they give you a case with no game in it. It's not all like that, but it's just sad. And now, you start to hear more about how these things are kind of switching and the DRM stuff isn't really for real. And if a company goes belly up, you lose your downloads. A couple of old Nintendo consoles, they're closing their eShop, and people are scrambling to get the physical. Yeah, right. You do prefer the tactile experience. Word up. Yo, what up, Bill O'Donnell? Yo, let's give a sip. I got too much going on. Let's give a sipper to my man Bill O'Donnell. Get your sippers up. So yeah, this would be great. So maybe next time Jenna can put these up here, so I don't have to scramble. Where's the sippers? Put your sippers up for my man Bill O'Donnell. Shout out to Saito-san, creator of Master of Snipe, Gogo 13. Let's see. Well, no, thank you. Bill says Mad Magazine or heavy metal I used to collect. Did you get Metal Hurlant? Metal Hurlant? Now just digital. I don't feel like digital's the same. Like I have we talked about this before. Um, I have a couple of e-reader things that I subscribe to, like Readly on the tablet, and it's mainly, I think it's like a UK app, a UK app, and it has mainly European magazines. So went looking for that because I was a big fan of Retro Gamer magazine. I know I've talked about this. And Retro Gamer magazine is all about old news of like old video games. And I used to get it from the Barnes and Noble. You used to go to Barnes and Noble to the magazine section, and they had the periodicals, and they had some with like UK stickers on it, and like a magazine was like $17 because they had to ship it overseas. And I was like, man, I just need to get a subscription to that. And the subscription was dumb expensive. It was like $200, and I was like, $200. So it was hard for me to commit. But at some point, I was like, you know what? I'm gonna just go ahead and get this, and I was enjoying it until COVID, and everything got screwed up. And then I was just like, ugh. But I went and found this Readly, and that's one of the things that you can get. But I kind of don't. It doesn't mean the same because it's not physical, and you can even go through. It's got the little shelf, like the digital shelf, and you can see all the issues. I don't. It doesn't stick with me. It really doesn't. Uh, that's right. Gorgo 13, the master of snipe. Dude, my Japanese is so bad now. I forgot all of it. I got to start over. Mladen says, I would love a quarterly of even semi-annual comics illustration-based magazine, but with a little chunkier. Kind of like a Shonen Jump, is that what you mean? 100 to 200 pages with creator interviews, historical articles, sketches, and layouts. That's not bad. Kind of like a US version of like Shonen Jump with maybe some other stuff mixed in it, like a Man Bin magazine. Duke says if they still made them, I'd probably still have a Nintendo Power subscription. Hey, you know what? I was talking to one buddy who I think before he knew that everything that has a Nintendo logo on it stays expensive forever. He threw out all his Nintendo Power magazines, and people were like, "No, why did you do that?" Like a complete set of Nintendo Power magazines is like 1,000, maybe like a couple $1,000. You can net for that. That's real. Oh yeah, there's some Hawthorne goodness in some of those albums. Yo, was it 200? My lord. Miss, yeah, Wizard magazine. But Wizard started like just getting goofy. I kind of let let that go. Yo, Duke, I might be interested in those. Paul Pate says, I've been reading a bunch of indie comics I get in the mail. I like the personal touch of buying right from the author. Got one of JRD's books right here. Got you. I love it. All right, you guys, time for ID. I'm surprised Suze didn't call me for an ID. Producer Suze usually tries to keep me on point. So let's do it. And you guys, hold on, Duke. I got your gift. Thank you so much. It's in another side of the studio, so I'm not ready for the night. So we're not doing the Nah John die 20 rolls tonight. I'm way too tired for that, and I also have to get out some Nah John prizes from a couple weeks ago, so I don't want to add to that stack. So we're just going to do it old school tonight. Yeah, no, it's really cool. Thank you for that. I'm going to debut it next time we have coffee break. All right, you guys, you ready? Jenna, you ready? Y'all ain't ready. You're watching Coffee Break with JN with your boy JN. This is JRD, how many years have I been doing Coffee Break? Is this 4 years, something like that? That's crazy. Um, Coffee Break with JN goes by a lot of names. One of them is group because here when we all gather, it's almost like group therapy because you need this precious. Some people are waiting all week for Thursday. Is it Thursday yet? Yes, you know the routine. We're waiting for this time to come together, pause, and you know, slough that week off your shoulders and you know, lay your lay your head down by the riverside or whatever. But the idea is when I get to tell you why we're here, just in case you got lost on your way into the rec center. And you guys know when we come here for group, if you get here early, you can park outside next to the busted parking meter with the bag on it. What happens here? You get to hang out with me, cartoonist Jamar Nicholas, and watch me drink this coffee and run my mouth. And when I'm out of coffee, you know, you know how we do this. Video over. Oh, I also have nicknames. Um, I have over 20 or something like that, but they're all kind of either Philadelphia specific or a little bit of my 16 charisma with a +2 modifier. Some people call me the administrator of this facility, or also my favorite, the captain of the ship, Jean-Luc Picard. Engage, make it so. So I mix it up a little bit for you that time. What's going on in the chat? Yo, the chat's blowing up. I can't keep up. I can't hold it back. All right, hold on a second. So yeah, that's really the gimmick. Especially, I see a lot of you new guys in here, or like, what's going on? This is not an infinite stream. I drink this coffee, and when I'm out of coffee, I turn this off, and that's it. That's it. So a little bit of it's just kind of like the luck of the draw and just seeing how this goes. This is must see TV. This is always better than Seinfeld. Seinfeld has not aged well. 30 nicknames? Paul says, I was looking for Seinfeld on TV and ended up here. Decided to stay. Is that how you wind up on Coffee Break? That can't be right. Yo, Marshall, what up, Marshall? Good to see you, my man. Somebody wake up, Hicks. Trey, it's hard to keep tabs on Trey. Trey is like in the winds, yo, but it's good when we see him. He's like that one cousin of yours that you just hope stays out of trouble. And he shows up once in a while for dinner. He's got like leaves in his hair, but we're just happy he came in. We have love for all of our caffeines. It has been 84 years. Jardi says, yes, it's correct. I've been doing Coffee Break for 4 years. Kidding me? Kidding me? Yeah, you like this one? This was some other things that a lot of you guys know about me. You know, I like the drip. You know, I like to look nice. I'm rocking it very plain today. But I have a big thing with graphic tees. I have I've tried to pare down my graphic T-shirt collection several times, and then once I kind of there was one wave where I filled up like 3 bags, and I gave it to one of my play nephews, and he was like, "Yo, this is what's up." And then as soon as he left, I was like, "Man, why did I do that?" So and then I wound up getting more T-shirts, and then the next time I learned about this, and this is cool, you guys. Um, I got a bunch of graphic tees made into a quilt, right? So now it's kind of like I'm sure a lot of us have like way too many T-shirts, and you're like, "But I really like this one," or "This is from when I went to the Billy Joel concert. I can't throw this out." Like, get a quilt made, and then you can like keep it on the couch, and you can like snuggle up. So at this point, I have 2 quilts, and I don't need any more quilts. So I think I'm at the stage where I'm just going to like get rid of the next wave. That's right. Oh, so anyway, what I was saying was this is from T Public Threat. No, is that where I get a lot? T Public. So one of the things is all print on demand, really, and you can get this as a shirt. But I was like, I kind of like the coffee mug better, and this is a really good coffee mug. So I got the same design printed on a coffee mug, and I'm almost at max cap with coffee mugs too. So but I can't. I have 13 graphic tees in my shopping cart on TeePublic that I can't push the button because I don't need any more stuff. Paul Pate says, I thought coffee break started spring of 2020. Oh, I see. Heading into year 4. I didn't start coffee break during the pandemic. I think that's the first thing. I was doing coffee break way before the pandemic, and it was all on Facebook. We weren't doing any YouTube stuff, so that might be it. So if you don't, I think we're friends on Facebook, Paul Pete. Um, if you go back into like the archives and the videos, you'll see them because I didn't have this elaborate setup. It was just me and the camera, my drink, and my 2 step. And I was really close to the camera. And our conversations was like, you're sitting across from me and we're sharing a moment. But this new setup is a little bit more not in your face. But I love all this stuff on the screen. Yo, Angel, what's up, man? Let me get a sip of coffee from my man Angel. Get your sippers up. Where is it? Love you, bro. Thanks for checking in. We're gonna get through this, man. Angel says, I have too many mugs. Yes, I get I get in so much trouble. It's like unload the dishwasher, you're like triple stack Tetrising mugs in the cabinet. And it's hard to get rid of mugs because usually they mean something or somebody gave it to you or you stole it from the break room at your job. Or maybe you think that like your drink tastes better in this one. So that's the keeper of the records. JRD says, yes, coffee break with JN regularly started in 2019. Gladden says, I just bought a cold brew coffee jug for 25 Canadian, much flavor, less acidic and easier on the gut. Huh. I don't know much about cold brew, but I've bought a couple of those before, and I think it's something weird about iced coffee, and maybe you can educate me because I don't know. But like cold brew and iced coffee is kind of like coffee that was made to be cold, right? Is that it? Because when I was at Comic Con, when I was in San Diego a summer ago, I had a cold brew coffee, and it was really elaborate. It was like a big kind of like bourbon stone block of ice, and then they like poured Dijon over it, and it was really tasty. But I was just like, "Yo, what's the science?" All right, here you go. I know the science. Why don't you like iced coffee? I think I picked a nerve. Yeah, I tell Sarah all the time we have whole shelves full of mugs. Also, like water bottles and Yetis and like sippy cups and all those things. This stuff adds up. Dakota says, "Ah, sorry, you guys. I told you my mouse sucks." Dakota says we have so many different ways to make coffee. I think it's part of the "You Live in PNW Starter Pack Pacific Northwest." Holla back. Jared D says my favorite mug, a sculpted 28-ounce Hulk mug, finally gave up the ghost. Sadly, yo, rest in peace, Hulk mug. Not a downright plebeian 20-ounce Darmok and Jalage. You're talking in French. Nakota says cold brew is it was made with cold water basically. Takes longer. Oh, is that what that means? Yo, y'all talking down to me. I don't like this. We're gonna have a conversation. Iced coffee is someone took some coffee and dumped ice in it. Bill says cold brew is coffee concentrated. You should water it down with ice. Thank you. See, Paul Pate knows how to talk to people. That's funny. Right? So then Ladin says, that sounds just like iced coffee. Cold brew is just literally coffee and water, but it sits in the fridge for 16 hours and you can heat it up later and drink cold. That's a lot, you guys. Well, it seemed like I struck a nerve with coffee mugs and t-shirts. I mean, you would think since this is called coffee break that people will be drinking coffee. And another thing is that people for the longest time was just like, bro, it's 9 o'clock at night. How are you drinking coffee? And we already know that this stuff actually calms me down. So one thing I have been doing lately is just my people have opinions. People have coffee opinions. I've been trying to watch my deal for the past couple of years, and I was like wildly out of control with my coffee consumption. So I I think I'm really up to 3 cups a day. Like I'll have, and I usually double up. I'll pause. I usually will have a cup of coffee in the morning, and then immediately another cup of coffee, and then I gotta slow it down, and then if we're having coffee break, I'm saving that. So this is my third cup for the day. But other times, like I usually have coffee after dinner, and then that's it. Yeah, tell them JRD. ADHD folks should drink coffee, and it helps put them to sleep. Chemically, ADHD brains invert the effects of caffeine. See, this should be the science hour. Jenna, you still there? Say what's up in the chat. It's too quiet over here. Bill says cold brew is potent stuff. Enjoy it before noon. Iced coffee is a good cool down on a hot day. All you scientists up in here. Paul says no coffee after 9. 9 p.m. is wilding out. Gladden, yo, you're putting in work here on the chat. I challenge you, Gladden, to show up for the next Pencil to Pencil broadcast. I hope you liked and subscribed to our channel so you can get first alerts when we go live again. Angel says, "You and I need coffee anonymous. I drink 3 to 4 a day." You know what? There's sometimes it's taken me a lot to not drink more coffee, and I want to feel like I'm regulating myself because I will drink it out of this. I know, like out in the world, as I was like heavy on Dunkin', and just like going into Dunkin' and getting like one of these joints. And if you said you had 2 of those, that's not 2 cups of coffee. That's like 5 cups of coffee. So I gotta like keep it normal in one of these, and helps me count a little better. Bill says after 9 p.m. is Irish coffee. All right. Nakota says technically I drink 2 cups at most, but the cups are like 24 ounce, right? So it's kind of like really doing that math. You got to be careful because you start getting a Jimmy leg. That's not a good. That's not a good thing. Latin says, yeah, Toddy is another one of those makers. I've heard good things about it. Mine's cheaper, but holds much less than the Toddy. I might have to look that stuff up. Oh yeah, I know you be drinking that Spanish stuff. And we're gonna start wrapping up, but I do enjoy other worldly coffees, not from other worlds. Spanish coffee is good. I'm lucky to announce, and I'll probably lose my culture card, but I do love some Bustelo coffee. But I put it I put it in my Keurig. So if I got the yellow box in the kitchen, I'm cooling out. But like a strong thing of Spanish coffee is amazing. Have you ever had Greek coffee with the silt in the bottom of it, and it comes in a little Dimatase cup? You just kind of hit that. Coffee is life, yo. JRD says, "Yeah, I was a 1.5 pots. Yep, pots a day. That's a lot of coffee, man. You got to be more careful." I think we should just end the show right there. Paul says, "I OD'd on candy for Easter. Been drinking my coffee black ever since. I'm liking it. I think it's a acquired taste, and I don't like punishing myself. And I've taught myself over the years because I used to be a big, what do they call it, light and sweet at the Dunkin'. Like you get a coffee, and they kind of like cream in it. And since I'm diabetic, I had to like kind of put it to stop doing the sugar. I don't do sweeteners anymore. I don't do Splenda. I don't do agave. I don't do any of that stuff. I just need a little. You know what it is? Oat milk. I'm Captain Oat Milk up in here. Angel's triggered. Sue says she don't even like coffee like that. Wow, why are we talking about coffee so much? Duke says, I didn't like coffee till I moved to the P&W and discovered proper coffee. I heard you get a real good cup of coffee in Seattle, in that area. Now I can't imagine how I survived college and my first job without it. Well, back then people were just, doing no dose or hard recreational drugs. Nobody drank coffee. Like well, we said this before. Back in the day, for real, coffee was like, your parents drank coffee and it just smelled nasty. You weren't going down to the Starbucks and getting a unicorn frappe. That stuff that it didn't work like that. So, when kids started drinking coffee, I got concerned because you know what they say, you guys, it stunts your growth. So I think we're too far gone now. And I don't mess with energy drinks either. Icall says, for a while when I was working nights and weekends, that's rough, bro. I drank coffee and monsters pretty much exclusively. Body was not a fan, not a fan. You gotta watch that stuff. You know what? Before we get out of here, we want to talk about hydration. I am not sick. Oh my god. Um, you have to be nice to your bodies, y'all. If you're not drinking water, I don't know where my Master Max is. We sip water and build up in here. Water is so important, and maybe that's the 50 talking, but it's like I watched this thing on YouTube last week with some doctor guy who was just like, "What are you doing? You're not drinking lemon water?" And I was like, "I don't know why. Why am I not drinking lemon water?" And he was like, "Right, get you a John, fill it with some lemons, squeeze off a couple of those paws, and just like take that to the head. I've been drinking lemon water for a couple of days. I feel great. And plus, it's starting to get hot out. Make sure you're not dehydrated. Drink your water, swab. You know what it is. Somebody just brought it up. Who's Team Water up in here? From our Philadelphians, Team Wooter. You got to be Team Wooter up in here and to balance out this coffee. Mm. Paul Pate says, best coffee I ever had was in the DR. It was next level, so good. I enjoy 8 o'clock coffee. That's right, Team Wooter. Put your waters up. All right, you guys, let me get out of here. This was a pretty low key coffee break. It was fun hanging out with you. It was fun with Apprentice Jenna in the background. Jenna, say goodnight. Um, I hope you guys got something out of this. Just an update for next week. I may or may not be here. I have some touring to do, so I'm not exactly sure where I'm going to be at to do coffee break in Pencil. So we'll figure it out. So I don't know where El Jamal is. I don't know where Trey is. Who else is here? Yeah, there it is. Tell them. Good night, chat. Um, and guys, if you enjoyed, well, we didn't do much this time, but if you enjoyed Jenna in the background, tell her as much. Oh, it's so sweet. Everybody's so sweet. So sweet, so sweet, so sweet. So if El Jamal was here, he would say, "Good night, John boy." But also, Suze would say, "Get your goodbyes in now, y'all. Say your goodbyes, because you know how this works." Jared D says, "Bring Kelly in as John Rivers." that's, that's pretty good. I love it. John Rivers. Ow, ow, ow. All right, you guys, let's go home. You've been watching Coffee Break with JN. I'm your boy JN. I go by a lot of names, but some of my favorites are Johnny Carson. That's wild stuff. John Voight, PM John, Paper Doll, and also your internet hairbrusher and best friend. Well, hello. What happened here tonight? You got to hang out with your handsome friend Jamar Nicholas, and we chopped it up into a fine dice. You guys had a lot of fun in the chat. A lot of people stopped by. I appreciate your eyeballs and your attendance. If you'd like to see more of me, pause. Consider joining my Patreon for the price of a dirty hot dog from a New York vending cart. You could get behind the scenes footage of my studio. You get to tell them, you know about Bodega Voltron. You get to listen and watch the most electrifying podcast on Patreon. It ain't hard to tell, with my buddy Mike Hawthorne and myself. That's right, Mike Hawthorne, who draws Batman. What are you doing with your life? Fix that. Correct that. Just, you see the crawl? Patreon.com/Jamar Nicholas. Go there right now and go a word and pledge your support to the JNN Jamar Nicholas Network. All right, you guys. So what happened here tonight? Did I say that already? I'm tired. Now that I'm out of oh wait, hold on. One day I'll have to get Mike to come. That's a good thing, and we'll have to do that. All right, we're gonna do that. We're gonna get Hawthorne on coffee break. That'll be fun. Duke says price of admission to the Patreon is worth it just for it's not difficult to discuss. That's the new. It's not difficult to discuss. That's the new Bizarro. It ain't hard to tell. It's not difficult to discuss. All right, you guys. Now that I'm out of coffee, see you next time. Stay safe.